Let's be honest, Hollywood has always been a place where people are willing to sacrifice literally everything for fame, sleep, sanity, and apparently functioning organs. Some celebrities pushed themselves so far past the limit that their bodies were basically filing HR complaints. So let's talk about the stars who took anything for the spotlight way too literally. Christian Bale. Nobody commits to a role like Christian Bale, and I mean that in the somebody please check on this man way. I mean, for The Machinist, he starved down to 120 pounds by living off apples, tuna, and anxiety. Then less than a year later, he bulked up to Batman level muscle like none of that even happened. His metabolism probably has a restraining order against him at this point. I mean, doctors have openly said these extreme yo-yo transformations can permanently damage organs, hormones, and bone density. But Bale just shrugs and signs on for the next role. Iconic, yes. Unhinged, also yes. Lady Gaga. Now Lady Gaga literally changed the rules of pop and her body took the hit. She pushed herself through brutal choreography, back-to-back tours, and zero rest until she triggered chronic fibromyalgia so severe she canceled entire shows. She admitted she used to ignore every warning sign because she felt pressure to stay superhuman. Meanwhile, her joints were like, ma'am, we're filing for divorce. The Weeknd. Now The Weeknd is a perfectionist and it shows, not just in the music, but in the toll it took on his voice and his body. He confessed to years of nonstop partying, sleep deprivation, and performing while completely burned out. At one point, he was hitting stages so exhausted that he described himself as barely functional. Eventually, he had to quit substances, rebuild his health, and restructure his entire life because fame had literally broken him down. Zac Efron. Now, Zac Efron's Baywatch body may have looked like a Marvel character sculpted in a lab, but he later admitted it destroyed him. To stay that shredded, he was overtraining, dehydrating, barely sleeping, and taking his body fat so low it messed with his mood and hormones. He said he developed a full-on body image disorder chasing that look, and it left him depressed and spiraling. Perfect abs, terrible lifestyle. Not worth it. Britney Spears. Before everyone understood what she was going through, Britney was pushed through a schedule that no normal human could survive. Endless rehearsals, shows, interviews, fitting. She was basically a machine being forced to run 24/7. She performed through injuries, exhaustion, and complete burnout for years. Fame didn't just hurt her mentally, it wrecked her physically. The industry treated her like a product, not a person, and her body paid the price. Tom Hanks. Yes, even America's dad was not safe. Tom Hanks has drastically gained and lost weight for roles his entire career. Castaway, Philadelphia, League of Their Own, but eventually it caught up to him. Doctors told him these extremes contributed to his type 2 diabetes. Imagine becoming a national treasure and then your pancreas taps out. So if fame is the goal, maybe the real question should be at what cost? Because some of Hollywood's, brightest stars reached the top, but their bodies never fully recovered. Plastic surgery destroyed these celebrities' faces. Let's dig into it. Let's be clear right up front, plastic surgery isn't evil, but when it goes wrong, it goes very wrong. And when it goes wrong on a famous face, there's no hiding it, no undo button, no soft launch. These are real celebrities whose faces were permanently changed, not enhanced, by procedures that spiraled out of control. And yes, some of this damage can never be reversed. Mickey Rourke. Now, Mickey Rourke is the blueprint for what happens when too many surgeries collide with the wrong surgeon. In the 1980s, he was considered one of the most handsome men in Hollywood. Then came boxing injuries, followed by reconstructive surgeries, followed by cosmetic tweaks, followed by more tweaks to fix the tweaks. His face became swollen, tight, uneven, and almost mask-like. Rourke himself admitted that most of his surgeries were attempts to fix damage and that several were done by the wrong doctors. I mean, once facial structure collapses like that, you can't just go back. I mean, bone shifts, scar tissue builds, muscles, stop moving naturally. This wasn't aging, this was permanent facial trauma. Jocelyn Wildenstein. Now, you cannot talk about irreversible plastic surgery without Jocelyn. Nicknamed the Catwoman, Jocelyn underwent extreme facial procedures over decades, reportedly to maintain a feline appearance her husband liked. So cheek implants, brow lifts, eye alterations, repeated fillers, and tightening procedures. The result wasn't youthful, it was anatomical distortion. I mean, her facial proportions changed so dramatically that doctors have said reversal simply just isn't possible. The skin, fat pads, and underlying structures were permanently altered. This wasn't one bad decision. This was like a slow, unstoppable transformation. Lil' Kim. Now, Lil' Kim's face change shocked fans because it happened gradually and then suddenly all at once. Nose reshaping, skin lightening, fillers, jaw work, lip alterations, and a lot more. At one point, fans struggled to recognize her at all. She later never opened up about deep insecurity and pressure to, conform to beauty standards in Hollywood, but medically speaking, repeated procedures on the same areas cause scarring, loss of elasticity, and facial imbalance. I mean, when that happens, doctors aren't sculpting anymore. They're basically patching, and patch jobs do not age well. Meg Ryan. Now, Meg Ryan built a career on being effortlessly expressive, big smile, crinkly eyes, a lot of warmth. Then came fillers, then came tightening, and then came facial volume loss. Her cheeks became stiff, her smile restricted, and her expressions muted. I mean, that's the danger with overfilling and aggressive lifting. You lose the very movement that makes a face human. So once facial muscles are altered or damaged, no amount of dissolving brings expression fully back. Hollywood didn't stop calling her because she aged. They stopped calling because her face stopped moving. Simon Cowell. Now, Simon Cowell openly admitted he went too far, and honestly, that admission came after the damage was already done. Excessive fillers stretched the skin, tightening procedures froze his facial muscles, his face appeared puffy, shiny, and rigid, almost like uncanny valley vibes. Now, he later dissolved fillers and swore off injectables, but here's the problem. Once skin is overstretched, it doesn't snap back. Doctors can reduce volume, they can't restore original texture or elasticity. The face remembers everything. Donatella Versace. Now, Donatella Versace didn't just age in the public eye, she transformed in it. Fillers, lip augmentation, tightening procedures, and just repeated facial work, that dramatically altered her appearance over time. Her features became exaggerated, pulled, and structurally different from her original face. And while she's kind of embraced the look, I mean, plastic surgeons agree after decades of interventions, and the tissue itself just changes permanently. And at a certain point, maintenance becomes survival mode. Plastic surgery isn't about one procedure ruining a face, it's about repetition. It's about chasing youth instead of accepting evolution, and it's about letting fear drive the needle, because once you cross a certain line, there's just no fixing it. There's only learning to live with the face you created. And in Hollywood, that lesson is written all over these faces. Anything for Selena's. Even Ozempic though? Fans think so. Let's dig in. Selena Gomez has been through it all in the public eye, from being a Disney sweetheart to one of the most followed women on Instagram. Every move she makes gets dissected. But lately, fans can't stop talking about one thing: her face. Photos and videos of Selena at recent events have sparked a wildfire of speculation that something just isn't right. People are asking her if changing appearance is the result of health issues, cosmetic work, or something even darker, like the side effects of Ozempic. Now, Selena has always been upfront about her health struggles. She battled lupus, gone through a kidney transplant, and faced the brutal side effects of medications that most of us can't even imagine living with every day. Because of this, her body naturally fluctuates, and she has spoken about it multiple times. But recently, the internet has zoomed in on her face, pointing out swelling, puffiness, and changes that look drastically different from just a few years ago. So where does Ozempic come in? Well, for those who don't know, Ozempic is a diabetes medication that exploded in Hollywood as a so-called miracle weight loss substance. Countless celebrities have been accused of secretly using it to shed pounds fast. The catch? Well, it comes with brutal side effects. Doctors have warned that Ozempic can cause a condition nicknamed Ozempic face, where rapid weight loss leaves the face looking hollow, saggy, or prematurely aged. Fans online are now pointing at Selena and asking the hard question: is this what we're seeing happening to her? Selena has never admitted to using Ozempic. She's actually been very vocal about, body positivity and telling people to leave her weight alone, and reminding fans that her lupus medication causes changes that is just out of her control. But when she showed up at the 2024 Emmy Awards, fans noticed her face looked dramatically different, puffier in some areas, thinner in others. The speculation machine immediately linked it to Ozempic because the look was so similar to what's been labeled Ozempic face in other celebrities. Another thing fueling the, rumor mill is timing. Selena took a step back from the spotlight a few years ago, then came back looking noticeably slimmer. In Hollywood, that kind of transformation instantly sets off alarm bells, because Ozempic has practically become the industry's dirty little secret. And when her face started making headlines, the blame instantly shifted to this controversial medication. But here's the darker side of the conversation. Selena's health history already puts her at risk for facial swelling and body changes. Lupus itself can cause inflammation, steroids can cause moon face, and a kidney transplant means she's on rejection medication for life. All those things can change someone's appearance drastically, and they don't need Ozempic to explain it. That's why some of Selena's fans are furious at the speculation. They argue that blaming Ozempic is not only invasive, but it ignores the very struggles she shared openly with the world. But the whispers won't stop, and the reason is simple. Selena is part of a bigger conversation about what Ozempic is doing to Hollywood. Every red carpet now feels like a guessing game of who lost weight naturally, who got surgery, and might be injecting themselves with this miracle jab. Selena's face is now front row and center in that debate, whether she wants to be or not.
Starting off our list at number 10 is Lil' Kim. Remember Lil' Kim, the cute sassy rapper who used to hang out with Puff Daddy and the whole Junior Mafia clique? The famous rapper was known for her raunchiness, whether it be through the microphone or through her pictures. However, over the year her pictures started to become unrecognizable. In the past decade, we've seen her transform her face with several different plastic surgeries, each time leaving us with more shocking results. Her once round nose is now extremely thin, and even her eyes sit differently on her face. What shocked people the most was in more recent pictures, not only was her face changed, but so has her complexion. She has lightened her complexion to a point where she no longer resembles a black woman. It's sad because the rapper has been open about her appearance and said it's because of her low self-esteem. She opened up during an interview and said, "All of my life, men have told me I wasn't pretty enough, even men I was dating. To this day, when someone says I'm cute, I can't see it. I don't see it no matter what anybody says." Celebrity plastic surgeon Dr. Gary Breslow tells Page 6 that he thinks she may need some help and that he fears she has a plastic surgery addiction. Based on her photos, he estimated she likely spent $20,000 to $25,000 on her surgeries, which include cheek implants, rhinoplasty, a chin implant, lip augmentation, and skin bleaching. At number 9 is Dolly Parton. There are so many reasons that people love Dolly, and her signature look is just one of them. She's open about her love for plastic surgery, which she couldn't even hide even if she wanted to, as her look has obviously changed over the years. She was always a pretty girl to begin with, but as the years went on, she began to get a bit of work done here and there. It's hard to believe that she turned 73 this year considering how good she looks, but there is no doubt that her plastic surgery played a part in that. The country artist has admitted to her numerous cosmetic procedures, which include breast implants, a brow lift, a facelift, eyelid surgery, chin augmentation, and rhinoplasty, which is a nose job by the way. We might not agree to her list of tweaks, but they have all contributed to her iconic Dolly Parton look, and she is thrilled about it. How could we forget her famous quote, "It cost a lot of money to look this cheap. As long as she's happy, I'm happy." Taking over the number 8 spot is Amanda Lepore. She is a transgender nightlife diva who people call a moving sculpture. She's a person who has made her own body her life's work. She has no problem flaunting her plastic surgery journey. She has undergone cosmetic alterations to almost every part of her body that can physically be altered. She's had booty silicone injections, a nose job, a facelift, her hairline lowered, cheek fillers, breast implants, and to get an hourglass figure, she even had her bottom ribs broken. It's been reported that the total cost of all her cosmetic procedures is over $1 million. She loves that people think she looks doll-like and says that all of her procedures went smoothly. She says, "Fortunately, everything was at its best when I had it done. I didn't have to do silicone injections in the boobs and things like that. They had implants by then. In those ways, I was lucky, and the sex change was really good. I didn't have to fix everything." The diva wrote a book called Doll Parts, which shares her entire journey as a transgender beauty queen. Sliding into number 7 is Mickey Rourke. The actor was once being called the next Marlon Brando, as he was known for his movies like Body Heat, 9.5 Weeks, and Angel Heart. However, over the years, fans can't help but notice the drastic change in the former heartthrob's looks. In 2017, photos of the actor went viral when people were stunned at how unrecognizable he looked. He's opened up about his plastic surgery, saying that it was all a result of injuries he got when he was an amateur boxer before he became an actor. He said, "Most of it was to mend the mess of my face, but I went to the wrong guy to put my face back together. I had my nose broken twice, I had 5 operations on my nose, and 1 on a smashed cheekbone. There has been debate whether the procedures were all reconstructive or some of them cosmetic. Experts have reported that he has also had a facelift, eyelid surgery, soft tissue fillers, cheek implants, and a chin implant." He posted a picture on Instagram of him wearing a bandage and shaking hands with his plastic surgeon and captioned it, "Now I am pretty again." His fans weren't too impressed by that. At number 6 is Joan Rivers. She is famously known to do it all, being an American comedian, actress, writer, producer, and television host. Throughout her career, she has been known for constantly changing her face, but in 2015, it was revealed just how many procedures she's had done. She sadly passed away on September 4th, 2014, and her daughter Melissa wrote a memoir called The Book of Joan: Tales of Mirth, Mischief, and Manipulation as a tribute to her life. In the book, she reveals that Joan had a total of 348 cosmetic operations done over her lifetime. Her daughter explains that she was never happy with the way she looked, no matter how many procedures she had gotten done. It was just never enough. Her daughter said she shared these details because she wanted people to know that even though she was always cracking jokes in her comedy routines, she always felt less than when it came to her appearance, which is why she originally turned to plastic surgery. Halfway through the list at number 5 is LaToya Jackson, the American singer and actress who is the 5th child of the Jackson family. Yes, Michael Jackson's own sister also had an addiction to plastic surgery. When you look at the family as a whole, plastic surgery in general just runs in the family. LaToya Jackson has always been known as a natural beauty when she first started her career, but over the years she has had so much work done she is now unrecognizable. It's almost scary how identical her face looks to Michael Jackson's post-surgery face. The most obvious work she has had done is her tightly pinched nose, skin tightening, cheek implants, and skin bleaching. People say that she looks exactly like her brother did, so they must have shared the same surgeon, which is ironic because LaToya once criticized her brother Michael for being obsessed with going under the knife and publicly blamed it on the violence and cruelty their father Joe showed them. She is now 63 years old, but you would never know because she literally looks like she's 35. In spot number 4 is Joan Van Ark. The actress is known for her talent, but also for her knife work and plastic surgery scandals. She's known to have one of the most disastrous plastic surgery cases, which is far from humorous, so do not think I am poking fun of her at all. This is just facts. Her multiple surgeries ended up leaving her with a permanently stunned look. Her first surgery was Botox injections to help any signs of aging, such as wrinkles and lines. It was then reported that she had a procedure done called blepharoplasty, which is where they create a hollow space between and above the eyes, which is ultimately what led her to always look like she's in some sort of state of surprise or shock. She's also had a lip augmentation done, a nose job, and face fillers. The beautiful blonde actress was once famous for her fresh face look when she started her career in the 80s. Now she is known for her plastic surgery transformation and for all the wrong reasons. At number 3 we have Dennis Avner, also known as Catman. He actually became a celebrity throughout his journey with plastic surgery. For years he destroyed his body for fame as he morphed his entire body into looking like a tiger. He holds the world record for body modifications, having numerous tattoos, piercings, and cosmetic surgery done. He even went as far as having whiskers, cat ears, and a mechanical tail. It was reported that he spent thousands and thousands of dollars for his surgeries, which included bifurcation, which is the splitting of the upper lip, surgical pointing of the ears, silicone cheek and forehead implants, tooth filing, tattoos, and facial piercings. He was known all over the world and fans jumped at any opportunity to take a picture with him. Sadly, in November of 2012, he was found dead in his home, but his legacy still goes on. When he was asked why he started this transformation in the first place, he said, "I felt inspired after discussion with a Native American chief who told me to follow the ways of the tiger." Talk about taking someone's words a little too seriously. And at number 2 is Pete Burns. He was the singer and frontman of the band Dead or Alive. Not only was he known for his music and talent, he was also known for his wild plastic surgery transformation. His career started with smash hits like the song You Spin Me Right Round, but later he decided to leave music behind, which is when he was known for his reality TV and his dramatic change in appearance. He flaunted his work and even appeared on UK's Celebrity Botched Up Bodies, where he said his famous quote, "I hope when I go to heaven that God doesn't recognize me." It all started with a simple nose job but went up from there. He had 4 surgeries done on his nose, 2 sets of cheekbone implants, and 2 lip augmentations. Having these repeated operations led to bad infections in his face and lips, which left him needing a ton of corrective procedures after that. It got as serious of him having to be rushed to the hospital after a lip augmentation had gone wrong. He was on his deathbed and recovered after 10 days of being on heavy blood thinners. He still went through other surgeries after that despite risking his life. He explained in an interview with ABC, "I see myself as my own clay and I was remodeling it." Taking our number 1 spot is another man who became a celebrity with his crazy desire to become the next human Ken doll. His name is Rodrigo Alves, but likes to go by the human Ken doll because he literally looks just like one. A lot of young boys dream of growing up to look like their favorite superhero, superhero, but for this UK celebrity Big Brother star, his obsession was to always look like a plastic doll. His obsession went further than anyone could ever imagine, spending a total of $883,000 on surgeries. His surgeries include hair transplant, Botox, face fillers, pec implants, fake six-pack implants, multiple nose jobs, liposuction to his jaw, fillers in his arms, calf shaping, bum lift, facelift, and rib removal. 4 ribs in total. In January of 2018, he told Sun Online that he was done with plastic surgery and was content with his final look. People are shocked when they see him, but even more shocked when they see his before picture. He says he now wants to focus on building his own brand. He said, and I quote, "I now want to focus on building my brand with my style, fashion, personality, and lifestyle. That's what I want to be known for." Starting off our list at number 10 is Michael Jackson. He was one of the greatest performers to walk the earth, and his personal life captured the interest of millions, mostly for his change of his look. He started out as a young singer in the band Jackson 5, where he rocked a black afro and dark skin. There was an accident that occurred where his hair actually caught on fire, so he began wearing wigs and also had permanent tattooing done to his scalp. But besides his hair, one of the most obvious parts of his transformation was the change in his skin color. Many people claimed he changed his color from black to white as a way of being accepted. Michael went on the Oprah show and claimed he had a skin condition and that was the reason it changed color. But reports say he had steroids and other medications, also known as bleaching agents. Throughout his career, he had multiple surgeries done to his face, including facelifts, nose jobs, chin implant, and lip tattooing to make them appear thinner. It's hard to say what the real reason was, but it can be assumed that the fame and money he had definitely played an effect on it. At number 9 is Farrah Abraham. She was cast on MTV show 16 and Pregnant when she was just 16 years old and pregnant, and then went on to be one of the OGs on the show Teen Mom. She was in the spotlight for years with her daughter Sophia, which is why fans were shocked when her image and behaviors began to change. In 2010, she had her first big surgery done, which was breast implants. It was only noticeable because she's always been a very petite girl, so they definitely stuck out on her tiny little frame. In 2012, she got a rhinoplasty and chin implant, which reports say cost her $16,000. The following year, in 2013, she got her second breast implant surgery and was showing off her new D cups. This year is when her image and also her reputation began to change as she got involved in the porn industry, promoting her adult film at the Gentlemen's Club in Las Vegas, and also a personal sex tape leaked onto the internet. She also got involved in a sex toy industry where she created her own line. In 2015, the star went to get more permanent lip fillers, but she had an allergic reaction. She posted the pictures and captioned it, "Girlfriends, don't say I didn't warn ya. #botched, #ER, #fixit." Since then, she has had countless procedures done. Her breasts again, her lips again, other face injections, and bum implants and bum fillers. She actually goes on her Instagram live video with her daughter Sophia in the room as she gets her bum fillers, by the way. You can just imagine the controversy. We can imagine that she feels the need to fit this type of image because she's now so involved in the sex/porn industry. Taking over spot number 8 is Cher. The actress and singer is a legend for her talent, but also for her looks. She basically hasn't aged a day because a lot of her financial success into plastic surgery. The best part is she has no problem admitting it. She flaunts the work she's had done with pride and says that she hopes to smash the stigma that cosmetic surgery is something to be ashamed of. During an interview with Glamour in 2018, she said, "It makes me happy, and you know, if I want to put my tits on my back, they're mine to do so." The actress admits to having a facelift and also Botox to reduce wrinkles and frowning lines. UK's leading aesthetic doctor, Dr. Nick Milojevic, says it looks like she's also had a neck lift and an eye operation. He also said, and I quote, "She would also have regular dermal fillers, as at her age the skin loses volume and needs to be plumped." Regardless of what she's had done, when she took on a role in Mamma Mia 2 last year, everyone kept asking, how the hell does Cher look so good? So I guess that beauty is pain. In the number 7 spot is Donatella Versace, the Italian fashion designer and current vice president of the Versace group, and also its chief designer. She is currently 64 years old and has a net worth of a whopping $200 million. The Versace company's stakes are divided divided between herself, her daughter Allegra, and her brother Santo Versace. The total value of the company is $1.7 billion. So needless to say, her company is a successful one. As time has gone on, her bags are not the only thing that has changed, her look has also, and significantly. She isn't known for having the most natural style, and she's the first one to admit it. In 2013, during an interview with Sunday's Vogue Festival, she said, "I am not genetically like this. I use tons of cream and take care of my hair and skin." She went on to admit that she has had Botox done on her face, but denies that she has had any other work done besides that. The fashion designer explains that it takes a lot to get her well-crafted look, which most people would expect from a designer. She can't even remember the last time she wore flat shoes. I can only imagine the expectations she even puts on herself as one of the world's most iconic designers. At number 6 is Pamela Anderson, the legendary actress and model mostly known for her work in Playboy magazine and on Baywatch. But before she became this sexual figure, she actually appeared in the family television show Home Improvement. It was her first television appearance, and she took on the role of Pam. Looking back at pictures now, you would probably not even know that it was her, because I didn't. Her looks completely changed after her first breast enlargement surgery and lip injections. Last year in 2018, America's holistic plastic surgeon Dr. Anthony Oon did a report of all the surgeries he suspects Pamela has had done based on his professional experience and knowledge. Throughout the report, he states that he thinks she's had some fillers injected into her cheeks, laser treatments done to her skin, Botox injections, and some fillers or fat transfers within the skin on her face. The model has always been recognized for her looks, so I can only imagine the pressure that comes with that. Halfway through, at number 5 is Carrot Top, an American stand-up comedian and actor whose original name is actually Scott Thompson. If for some reason you don't know who he is, he's a guy known for his bright red afro hair, hence the Carrot Top nickname. Over the years, rumors have spread that he has undergone a number of different plastic surgery operations, and understandably so, because looking at pictures, I would definitely think that he has. However, he continues to deny that he has had any work done. During an interview back in 2013, he was asked about what he thought on the rumors. His response was, "People think I've had plastic surgery. No, it just takes a lot of makeup to make me look good." He went on to say that people have made jokes that he looks like The Mask, and all he has to say is, and I quote, "I'm sorry that I look good. I don't think I look anything different than I did when I started comedy." According to plastic surgeon Dr. Oon, he says he definitely has had some work done. He says yielding an excessively arched brow and a smooth face is the result of laser treatment. He's looking more and more like a muscle-bound cartoon character. Well, what do you guys think? Plastic surgery or makeup? Here we are at number 4 with Janice Dickinson. She has been referred to as the world's first supermodel. She deserves that title, seeing as she did pave the way for the thousands of women who have since joined the competitive modeling industry. But she's just one of the millions of people to see her life destroyed by drugs and alcohol. Janice opens up and explains that she managed to avoid drugs entirely for the first 5 years of her career, but finally gave into temptation following a bad breakup. She said her way of coping was through the large amounts of free cocaine that she got as a result of her success. The model spent the next couple of decades filling her body with drugs and also plastic surgery. She has never been shy to admit that she has had breast implants, lip injections, and other work done on her face. She even appeared on the hit show Botched to get her breast implants fixed, and the doctors were concerned on how she would handle the medications with her past drug addiction. The former model is often spotted out in public without makeup ever since appearing on the show where she exposed it all. Alright guys, at number 3 we have Tara Reid. Most of us girls will know her from her role in the movie Josie and the Pussycats, and most guys will know her from the American Pie movies. The actress was very successful, finding her way to play the hottie in most of her movies. She had a naturally beautiful look, but over the years she has gone through some awful plastic surgery experiences. In 2006, she had a procedure done called liposculpting, which went horribly wrong and actually botched her stomach. She wanted to get the surgery done in the first place to upkeep her hottie reputation, but turns out it cost her a lot of work. During an interview in 2007, she opened up about it and said, "My stomach became the most ripply, bulgy thing. I had a hernia, this huge bump next to my belly button. As a result, I couldn't wear a bikini and I lost a lot of work." She also explained that her breast implants were botched by the same doctor, which left her with deformed nipples. She later had both procedures reversed, but it wasn't able to fully fix miss the issues. She was last spotted in February 2019 jogging and working out with her trainer in LA. In spot number 2 is Jocelyn Wildenstein. Hey, we have the same name. Honestly, I'm not totally sure what she's famous for. If you go online, it basically said she's famous for her extensive cosmetic surgery and also her divorce from billionaire Alec Wildenstein in 1999. Her actual Wikipedia title is American Socialite. Whatever that means. Not only was she in the tabloids for her divorce, but she also was referred to as Catwoman for having feline features. Despite what everyone else says about her, she claims that she hasn't had that much surgery and blames her Swiss background for her high cheekbones and cat eyes. Just last year, during an interview with Paper Magazine, she pulled out photographs from when she was in her teen and her early 20s because she wanted to show the interviewer that she has always had these features. Yeah, all I can see is a lot of plastic surgery. But what do you guys think? Taking our number 1 spot is Heidi Montag. She became famous from the MTV hit show The Hills, where she was Lauren Conrad's best friend. The show was a reality-based show, so Heidi only played herself. But the young star became famous for her insane amount of plastic surgery more than anything. She shocked the world when she had 10 plastic surgeries done in just 24 hours. Not procedures, surgeries. It was a brutal process and she barely made it out alive, literally. She was just 23 years old when she went under the knife back in 2010, and she came out looking about 23 years older with completely different facial features. So here is the list of what she had done. A mini brow lift, Botox in the forehead and frown area, a nose job revision, a chin reduction, fat injections in the cheeks, nasolabial folds and lips, neck liposuction, the ears pinned back, a breast augmentation revision increased to a size F, liposuction on the waist, hips and inner and outer thighs, and buttock augmentation. She had surgery done a few years prior, so she wasn't really new to it. During an interview with People Magazine, she was asked why she did it all at once, and she replied, "That's kind of my personality, everything at once. And I really just wanted to go under anesthesia once instead of going under and under again. It felt safer to me." Unfortunately, it was anything but safe. Turns out her heart actually stopped for a minute and she was technically dead on the operation table. She continued to say that the risk wasn't worth it and that she is done. I quote, "Risking my own life for vanity." She does regret her decision and calls it a huge mistake, but says it forced her to grow as a person.
Number 10. Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is a 2-time Academy Award winner and has garnered a reputation for pushing the boundaries when it comes to his craft. Hanks has reportedly proven himself to be a big screen giant time and time again. One of my favorite Tom Hanks performances is genuinely in the film Castaway. I've seen this movie too many times to count, and one thing that always stuck out to me as both impressive and nerve-wracking was just the dramatic shift in Tom's physicality between the beginning of the movie and the end. The story follows Tom as a FedEx system analyst named Chuck Nolan who gets stranded on a deserted island for 4 years, relying on nothing but his wits to survive, well, wits and some of the random FedEx packages that wash up on shore. Tom actually shifted his weight twice for this movie, initially gaining 50 pounds during pre-production to properly portray the run-of-the-mill FedEx guy. Following the first half of the film, the crew actually took an entire year off for Tom to lose weight and grow out his hair. In the years following the film's release, Tom claims that losing and gaining 50 pounds took a massive toll on his physical and mental health. He claims that when Wilson the volleyball was introduced on set that he could genuinely hear responses coming from the ball. Like, that's not good. All the weight loss caused him to fall deep into his role, never having a day off throughout production, but he then revealed that the role left him with type 2 diabetes, something that he claims to just be a part of the gig. Maybe for Tom Hanks, but not for anyone else in the acting world. Number 9. Chris Evans. It's difficult to imagine anyone else in the role of Captain America other than Chris Evans, but fun fact, he almost turned down the role for the simple reason that at first glance he just thought this was going to be a poopy movie. Only he didn't say poopy. But as soon as he was on board, he embraced this character, Steve Rogers, especially the more physical aspects like partaking in his own stunts on Captain America: First Avenger. Over the years, Chris has always been thankful that Captain America's powers exist in the realm of things that people can actually do. His stunts mostly just involve some action sequences and light wire work. Unfortunately though, in Captain America Civil War, those limits were tested when Chris attempted a stunt that saw him holding a helicopter back from takeoff with his bare hands. The scene was filmed in the first week of production, and Chris actually had obliterated his arm during the final take. It was a fake helicopter, of course, but according to Chris, it was drifting out of control and it jerked his arm and it tore something in his muscle that he claims is still messed up to this day. Number 8. Jackie Chan. First and foremost, can we just take a moment to appreciate this man? Okay, he is a gem of a human being. Jackie is an opera legend, but you might know him best as the most incredible action movie star that's ever lived. Not only does Jackie do all of his own stunts, but the stunts have involved everything under the sun, from jumping through small gaps in walls to tumbling off of moving vehicles. Jackie has put his life on the line just for our amusement time and time again. Now, despite appearing to be okay on the outside, Jackie has actually sustained a ton of injuries over the years that have left him dealing with some major health issues. He has broken half of the bones in his body, he's been swatted by Bruce Lee, but he suffered a life-altering injury during the production of The Armor of God. During a scene where he is drinking no-no juice and performing a quick escape, Jackie decided that one take was not enough. Not only did he do several takes, but he was drinking real no-no juice to get into character. The more takes he did, the dizzier he became. And during one take, he slipped and hit his head on a rock. This left him with a massive hole in his head and being rushed to the hospital for an emergency surgery. They planted a plastic plug in his skull to keep things in place, and despite that, he continued to perform and still does. What a great man. Number 7, Bruce Willis. The Try Hard franchise is considered to be one of the best action series to date, and I know that's not the title, but I'm not allowed to say the real one. Starring Bruce Willis as John McClane. The first film is a wonderful Christmas action movie. Yeah, it's a Christmas movie, argue with me all you want. Of course, one prop that is heavily featured in this film is an array of machine pew-pews that are constantly going off left and right. Now, misfires and mistakes can be made, but on this set, one decision was deliberate and it left Bruce Willis missing 2/3 of his hearing. It's rumored that the director John McTiernan used extra loud blanks while filming to make things feel more realistic and to create a dramatic sound. Now, this was fine when you're filming outside in an open room, but for the scenes that took place in close quarters, over the years it was revealed that the on-set props and their loud noises left Bruce 75% deaf in his left ear. Considering the historical significance that these films have, being some of the best and most action-packed films ever, it's well worth the hearing loss for sure. Number 6, Hugh Jackman. Another iconic Marvel celebrity is of course Hugh Jackman as the Canadian rage machine Wolverine. Now, considering he was playing the character during a time when practical superhero effects weren't, completely polished, it's no surprise that Hugh Jackman sustained a ton of injuries while playing this character. During production of the first X-Men movie, Jackman injured his nether regions after getting caught in a stunt harness. According to Hugh, the pain was brutal and he recounts screaming at the top of his lungs. Except they kept filming, believing that his cries were some primordial instinct that Wolverine was releasing from within. Yeah, even when this guy screams in real life, it's epic. During production of X-Men 2, he discovered just how dangerous his prop claws could be. While playing with the real metal props, he accidentally sliced his skin next to his eye and his upper thigh, leaving a scar. According to Hugh, the slice came while filming a scene in his birthday suit, and as he turned a corner, he saw a group of female crew members and just kinda instinctually went to cover his no-no zone. But he accidentally sliced himself in the process. At least it was his thigh and not something else. His Wolverine. I probably can't say that online, but oh well. External injuries weren't the only thing he got though. It turns out that growling and screaming for over 15 years really takes a toll on you. He claims that he now has a permanent gruff to his voice that would horrify his drama school vocal teacher. Number 5, Christian Bale. Christian is a very versatile actor, having been in movies like American Psycho, Dark Knight, and The Machinist. Now, we're going to be discussing a few key moments in his transformation career, but let's chat about the first major physical change. For his role in The Machinist, Christian had dropped a ton of weight. He had recently gained a bit of weight and muscle for his role in American Psycho and maintained it right up until he was casted in The Machinist. For the role, he lost 120 pounds despite only being 190 when he started filming. Weighing only 70 pounds throughout the production took a massive toll on his body. He was tired and worn out after only a couple of hours on set. But it wasn't enough for him to skip the role of a lifetime, and following the end of this film, Christian was forced to gain back every single pound he lost, including his muscle mass, to portray Batman in Christopher Nolan's trilogy. With each subsequent movie, he lost more and more weight, right up until he starred in American Hustle, doing a complete 180, and by the time production began, he had reached 230 pounds. According to Christian, he drank melted ice cream and ate garbage for weeks just to gain weight fast. Following his most recent shift in weight for Thor: Love and Thunder, he admitted that his doctors advised him to avoid any more dramatic weight shifts because it's starting to seriously destroy his health. Thankfully, prosthetics and CGI are so good that he should never have to do it again. Probably will for fun. For number 4, Christopher Tyree. So for this entry, we are taking a break from the silver screen for a second, and I just want to talk about Broadway, okay? That's right, Marvel attempted to dip its toe into the world of theater a few times, but this was the biggest mistake they ever made. Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark was a live stage musical retelling of the origins of Spider-Man. It included elements from the first 2 Sam Raimi movies, as well as a heavy theme based around the Greek myth of Arachne, which I'm not gonna get into because it's pretty dark. Let's just say the myth ends with a woman turning into a spider. Anyway, so there is this aerial stuntman named Christopher Tyree who was seriously injured while performing in this infamous Broadway show. To be specific, he fell 30 feet into the orchestra pit when his tether failed to stop his fall mid-performance. Now, of course, he was replaced by an understudy for a while. Then the understudy got injured too, along with several cast members due to various issues with effects and wire work. After Christopher recovered from his injuries, he revealed that he had broken 4 ribs, 3 vertebrae, fractured his skull, probably on a clarinet or something, and a radical fracture on his elbow, which that doesn't mean what I thought it did. Radical fracture, dude! Despite initially wanting to rejoin the cast, he ultimately left the show altogether and was replaced by Richard Kobach, who actually sued this production for the injuries he and others sustained while performing. Number 3, Jeremy Renner. Hawkeye is a very underappreciated character in the MCU. There, I said it. This dude's a father, and for those of you who haven't seen his Disney Plus show, you know, he is now a mentor, and his wife might be a super spy. Now so that's pretty cool. Earlier this year, Jeremy was in the news for being trapped beneath a snowplow and hospitalized with a large number of internal injuries, but that's not because of a movie. The movie injury took place while filming the first Avengers. A lot like his co-stars, Jeremy tries to do his own stunts as often as possible to give the role a lot of authenticity, but while filming a scene for the team-up movie, Renner tore a muscle in his ABC and had to take a break from filming for quite some time. Director Joss Whedon revealed in an interview with Hollywood Reporter that his stunt work was incredible and he was a very gifted performer. However, one day on set he just turned wrong and his whole body shut down. He was in enormous pain. The crew were forced to shut the sequence down and put production on pause. Now eventually he got back on his feet and continued to do his thing, reprising his role a ton of times, but the injury never really left his system. And if you haven't seen the Disney Plus show, go watch it. I am an advocate. It's a great show. Number 2, Zazie Beetz. Following her performance as Domino in Deadpool 2, the world became very familiar with Zazie Beetz. She had already been acting for quite some time before this, being known for her role on the hit series Atlanta, but this role really just skyrocketed her into the mainstream. Now, despite her on-screen character literally possessing the power of luck, her time off-screen was not so lucky. During a stunt involving a lot of things exploding and firing off left and right, she was struck by a rogue shell that left a massive scar on her chest. The elaborate fight scene that took place on a moving truck was already intense, but the strike caused her to pass out and for production to halt. Despite passing out, she returned to the set to continue the film, and when she speaks about the incident in public, she just claims that the scar is a souvenir from battle. And at number 1, Dylan O'Brien. Maze Runner franchise may no longer be pumping out sequels to its original from 2014, but that may not be exclusively the fault of ticket sales. In 2016, while filming the sequel to The Maze Runner, Dylan was involved in an on-set incident that actually almost landed him in a coffin. During a scene where Dylan was riding a motorcycle, he fell into a slide and fell off his bike, leaving him with a concussion, brain trauma, and a massive facial fracture. Due to the injuries, the film had halted production and release was delayed. Dylan eventually returned to the set and finished the job, but the trauma still lingers with him to this day. Before filming the third entry in the franchise, Dylan took a break from acting altogether to take time for himself, to heal. Ever since that day, Dylan has been apprehensive about filming any kind of action sequence, and for good reasons.